Hey guys, Stay Patient here, and today I'm bringing you some tips to help you with your crushing difficulty playthrough on Uncharted 4, although the tips will be helpful on any difficulty. The first thing I will mention is that the gameplay being shown in the background isn't meant to be a display of skill. In fact, I deliberately play recklessly at times for the sake of the video. The footage is a showcase for how some of the new mechanics in this Uncharted make the combat quite different to previous games in the series, and it will hopefully give a visual representation of some of the tips I'm going to be giving you. So when I started the game, I went straight for the crushing difficulty because of my experience with the previous Uncharted titles. By about halfway through though, I'd started becoming quite frustrated with a lot of the combat encounters. I was getting through them all eventually, but it didn't feel like it was as a result of the practice I had had improving my approach. It seemed to be very trial and error based with plenty of luck involved, and most of my deaths were down to the wonky control system getting in the way when I was attempting risky stealth maneuvers that required perfect timing. You see, the areas I was entering seemed to be laid out in such a way so as to promote a stealthy playstyle, and being someone who enjoys stealth in video games, that was the approach I was taking. But due to the way the enemies and the area itself would be laid out, it became apparent that being spotted at some point was almost inevitable. Coupling that with the lack of checkpoints made it seem near impossible to fully stealth an area, and if you're spotted without any decent cover nearby, then you die very quickly. Of course, decent cover in this game is less common than in previous games. Even if you have some cover nearby, the enemies can flank you, destroy the cover if it's weak, or simply spam you with grenades. So I thought I would try a more gung-ho approach, staying in solid cover in a good location and using my weapons. But the problem with this approach is that you simply run out of ammo. You can pick up weapons from the enemies of course, but if you have alerted everyone to your presence, then leaving the cover you are in to retrieve those weapons is a death sentence. It was only later on in the game that I remembered and realised the importance of a new mechanic that had been mentioned near the beginning. It was that the enemies lose track of you if you move and break line of sight from all of them for long enough. And so I came to an epiphany. Rather than each area steering you towards either a stealth approach or using your weapons, Uncharted 4 expects you to use a combination of both approaches by making use of this new mechanic, namely the ability to hide again and regain your advantage. The encounters are laid out in such a way that if you try an exclusively stealth approach, it's very likely that you will eventually be seen, and if you take the opposite approach and try to gun everyone down, you will find yourself constantly short on ammo. That explains why I was struggling to clear out entire areas without being spotted, despite being a competent stealth gamer, and also why my gung-ho attempts didn't fare much better. I had kept asking myself at different points in the game, how am I meant to approach this particular battle? And I finally had my answer. So in this video you should see me taking out a few enemies stealthily until getting to the point where it becomes too dangerous to continue the stealth approach. Remember, if you're spotted it can be difficult to get into cover that gives you the required protection from all angles, and even then you have those melee enemies who rush you. So at this point you want to find a spot that has two things. 1. Decent cover so you can line up your shot and kill some enemies without being flanked too quickly, and 2. An escape route allowing you to get somewhere where you can break line of sight and subsequently lose the attention of the enemies. In this video I used the water to lose the enemy's focus, but in other locations you can use whatever solid structures are there. Then the great thing is that after losing track of you, to cover for the men they've lost, the enemies often take up new, more spread out patrol patterns, allowing you once more to stealthily take down a few of them before having to go loud again. So both these playstyles facilitate one another. Stealthily killing some of the closer enemies around the outside of the area stops them from being able to flank you during a gunfight, and also provides you with much needed ammo. Then, turning to your weapons, clears out a few more, while also shifting the enemy's patrol patterns and spreading them out ready for another stealth run. One more thing that is very helpful is the fact that when you throw a grenade, as long as no one sees you throw it, the explosion will not give away your position. So if you see a group of enemies together, don't be afraid to take them all out with a grenade, even if you are still undetected. They'll know you're there, but not where you are. So if, like me, you're finding it frustrating not getting very far with any one type of approach, then combine stealth and gunplay together into one single organic approach. Take out a few from stealth, but as soon as it seems too risky for any more stealth kills, use your weapons a little from safety to thin the numbers before going about losing the enemy's focus once again. This way, by alternating between stealth and weapon use, you can slowly whittle down the enemy numbers without running too low on ammo, or being forced to try and stealth kill a group of enemies that can all easily see one another. So there you have it guys, I hope this advice has been helpful to some of you. As usual, thanks very much for watching and for all the support. Let's see if we can start working towards a new milestone of 2,000 subs. Have a good one guys, see you next time.